When you reject a narcissistic woman, you're not just walking away from a relationship, you're shattering her carefully crafted illusion. To her, rejection isn't an emotional event, it's a psychological collapse. It strikes at the core of her false self, the mask she wears to conceal her inner emptiness. Beneath that confident exterior lies a fragile identity built entirely on external validation. When you say no, you're not just refusing her, you're denying her the fuel she depends on to feel significant. In that instant, her mind scrambles to repair the wound. She might appear angry, cold, or even indifferent. But behind the facade, there's panic. The loss of control feels like death to her ego, because control is her substitute for love. Carl Jung once said that what we repress will eventually rule us from the shadows. And that's precisely what happens here. Her shadow self, the one she hides from the world, begins to surface. She's forced to confront the truth she's run from her whole life, that her power over others was never real, and without your attention, she ceases to exist in her own mind. Rejection, then, becomes her greatest teacher, but only if she dares to listen. When the rejection sets in, her initial shock quickly transforms into rage, not because she loves you, but because she's lost her grip on the illusion of control. This isn't ordinary anger. It's a defensive eruption from a deeply wounded ego. Psychologically, it's what Jung might describe as the eruption of the shadow, the unacknowledged, chaotic side of the psyche that lashes out when exposed. In her mind, she cannot afford to feel powerless, so she projects that feeling onto you. You become the enemy, the betrayer, the one who must be punished for daring to see through her mask. You'll notice the shift. The tone sharpens, the words cut deeper, and the charm turns to venom. But remember, this isn't about you. It's about her desperate attempt to restore a false sense of superiority. Every insult, every accusation, every emotional storm is a mirror reflecting her inner turmoil. She's fighting not to lose you, but to avoid facing herself. Understanding this frees you from reacting to it. Her rage no longer defines you, it defines her. And once you stop feeding that chaos with your attention, you reclaim the one thing she fears most, your emotional independence. After the storm of rage subsides, something fascinating happens. She shifts from hostility to charm. This is the phase of psychological seduction, what many call the hoovering stage. She reappears suddenly soft-spoken, apologetic, even enlightened. It's not genuine change, it's strategy. The narcissistic mind views relationships as a power dynamic, not an emotional bond. When she senses her control slipping, she activates the very traits that once captivated you: empathy, imitation, emotional attunement, and false vulnerability. It's the art of illusion, returning in its most convincing form. Jung spoke of the trickster archetype, the force that deceives to preserve its own survival. That's exactly what's at play here. She will mirror your growth, echo your language of healing, and promise transformation, not because she's evolved, but because she knows your compassion is her gateway back into power. It's psychological theater, and you are the intended audience. The test lies in your awareness. If you engage, the cycle resets. If you remain grounded, her spell dissolves. The narcissist doesn't fear rejection. She fears indifference. And when you no longer respond to her illusion, you deliver the one truth she cannot manipulate. Her power ends where your self-respect begins. When charm and persuasion fail, she turns to the one weapon that still offers her a sense of control: your reputation. This is when the smear campaign begins. It's not simply gossip or pettiness, it's psychological warfare. The narcissistic woman cannot tolerate the idea of being seen as the one who was rejected, so she rewrites the narrative to make herself the victim. By distorting facts and twisting perceptions, she recruits others into her illusion. Suddenly, you find yourself defending your character against stories that never happened. But the purpose isn't truth, it's power through perception. Jung taught that the ego will destroy what it cannot control, and this is her unconscious motivation. If she can't possess your reality, she'll attempt to poison it. Her storytelling becomes her survival mechanism, a desperate attempt to preserve the image of superiority that rejection shattered. Yet, in doing so, she reveals her greatest weakness: dependence on the opinions of others. Your response must be silence, not retaliation. Let her words expose themselves over time. Truth has its own gravity. It always returns to center. The moment you stop explaining yourself is the moment her illusion loses its audience, and her control dissolves into emptiness. When her attempts to regain control fail, she retreats into silence. But this silence isn't peace, it's punishment. The narcissistic woman uses absence as a weapon, turning emotional withdrawal into psychological leverage. It's her way of saying, asterisks, I don't need you, but you'll feel my absence. Asterisk, in truth, she's not detached, she's calculating. The silent treatment allows her to reassert superiority, while forcing you to chase the validation she's withholding. It's a paradoxical performance, cold on the surface, desperate underneath. Jung observed that what we withdraw from doesn't disappear, it grows stronger in the unconscious. Her silence serves the same function. It feeds the illusion of control while avoiding confrontation with her own emotional emptiness. She convinces herself that by ignoring you, she's reclaiming power. But power built on avoidance is fragile. Your role in this phase is crucial. Do not chase the silence or try to decode it. See it for what it is, an emotional mirage designed to pull you back into dependency. When you refuse to participate, the power dynamic collapses. True strength is not found in breaking the silence, but in outgrowing the need for it. Detachment becomes your liberation, not your loss. When all forms of control fail, she moves to her final act, replacement. It's not love that drives her towards someone new, it's performance. The new relationship, the sudden happiness, the curated social display, all of it is theater designed to send a message. Asterisk, you were never that important. Asterisk, but beneath the surface, it's not joy she's expressing, it's desperation. The narcissistic psyche cannot sit in emptiness, so it seeks another mirror, another audience, another source of validation to fill the void left by your rejection. Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear to face the world, and here the mask becomes her entire identity. The new partner is simply a prop in her ongoing play, proof to herself that she's still desirable, still powerful, still in control. Yet no matter how convincing the act, it's hollow. The pattern repeats, and the cycle continues, because what she's really running from is the confrontation with her own unhealed self. The truth is, her need to replace you is the ultimate confession of your impact. You moved on, she performed moving on. And in that difference lies your victory, silent, grounded, and utterly free.